Canada is home to individuals and families from so many backgrounds and nationalities. Diversity is definitely one of the first things that comes to mind when I think about Canada, and that's great. Welcome to the I CanMove podcast, where it's all about building a community around the achievement of success through immigration. I'm your host, Paul, and thanks for joining us for this episode. We're going to be doing a series of episodes with guests from all over the world who now reside in Canada. The aim is to share unique insights and real-life stories to bring value to the I CanMove community. For this first episode, I'm joined by a good friend of mine, Peter Morcos, who is originally from Egypt and embodies success through immigration. Hey, Peter, how are you doing today?
Hey, Paul, how are you? I'm doing great.
Awesome. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me on your broadcast. It's amazing. The idea is amazing, and it feels great to share our experience so that we can make things much more easier and efficient for our newcomers.
Absolutely. That's the hope here, right? Building a community around success through immigration, and particularly immigration to Canada. So let me ask you, Peter. So first thing, I want you to share a bit of your background and effectively why you chose to come to Canada.
Yeah. So of course, like you said, I am from Egypt. Family, we were living in Egypt for a while up until 2011. And then all of a sudden there was a bit of an uprise and unsettledness. Things were not stable back home. As a third world country, it's different than the West here in the States or Canada. And I made the decision to leave everything behind and move to Canada for a better future for myself, for my future kids. And just wanted somewhere where I can actually tackle new challenges and know that I have a government or a country that would facilitate that and provide all the needs necessary for me to achieve my vision. And Canada was the winning factor.
For sure. That's definitely a common theme, I think, for many who seek to come here. Without going into too much detail, I actually met Peter through my wife. They were both co-workers, and we met, and the story it's history after that. We just really hit it off. Peter, I consider Peter a very good friend of mine. He's done so much here, during his time in Canada, and definitely represents success, so I definitely think, Peter, that you for sure achieved, what you wanted to do in coming here. That's for sure. So Peter, of all the benefits of moving to Canada, example, free healthcare, ease of transition, safety, there's so many benefits. Which one would you say is the most important to you, and which one really drove you coming here?
I would have to say sky's the limit in terms of what you can achieve in this country. Everyone appreciates the free healthcare, the fact that you have that ease of mind that everything is taken care of. If you, your parents, your kids, they will be taken care of regardless of their financial situation, their culture or social life. It doesn't factor into this. Everyone is treated the same. Everyone gets that attention. But the fact that you can come to this country and start from scratch, and I will say it's been 9 years for me. 9 years is where I started education, and now I'm head of my department at my company. That
nice.
You don't get those many chances in a lot of countries. You don't get that push that everything is achievable. You just need to work. There's a lot of people helping you, especially the government.
Yeah. No, that's true. Definitely a land of opportunities. Me myself, I've transitioned a lot. I've moved from Jamaica to Cayman and now here in Canada. But I have to say that Canada definitely affords its residents and citizens and everybody here the opportunities, as you mentioned. There's really no limits as to what you can achieve here in Canada. Next question. So what were some of the biggest challenges you faced during your journey here?
The two I recall the most are, one, the cultural change. So let's just say, for example, the way we drive back home is completely different than here, as in there's not that much respect for let's say speed limits. So everyone's going fast and it's reckless, and you end up costing lives or damages to someone's property, even if it's yours. But then you come here and there's all those rules and you're like, maybe it's not the best, but then in a couple of months you're like, this is for me, this is for my kids, they want to make sure everyone is safe. This is because we value lives. We don't care about how fast you want to get to some place. No, we do care that everyone stays safe. And this was some of the big challenges at first to understand and comprehend and comply with. But eventually, you're very happy to spread that mentality to all your other friends who are not there yet. So the culture shock for one, and I'd say the second thing was how you navigate through your studies or in work. So the education system is different than what I was used to. So that took a little bit of time to adapt to. And the fact that not everything here in Canada is about what degree you have. It's more about how good you are at what you do, how dedicated you are, your work ethic, and how you can help someone as a company reach a better stage. And that's different. So it depends on how much effort you put, not on who you know or what you can pretend to know.
No, for sure. On that first point, discipline. So that was a big thing for me as well. I'm from Jamaica, as you know, and even as you mentioned, being on the roads, and there's not a lot of enforcement there, as well as it's just kind of cultural thing to be a bit more risky on the roads. So coming here, one of the big things that stood out to me was the discipline within society and how enforcement is done, and it does take some getting used to, and you may or may not miss some of the ability to do dumb stuff sometimes, but all in all, as you mentioned, Peter, it is definitely for the betterment of society. The orderly nature in which things are done and carried out, it's really, really good, and something that you quickly get used to and quickly appreciate. So let me ask with that said, so the biggest challenges, we just went through those, but what were your biggest triumphs coming here to Canada?
I was able to pursue my education that I wanted at, let's just say, a relatively elder age than what I'd be expected to do that in Egypt, but with more support. So I was the eldest in the class, but no one looked at me as an outsider, and it did help me get to what I want. It did help me to pursue my education, and eventually that education and with my work ethic, I was able to reach what I wanted work-wise, and achieve what I wanted, and to be able to do all of that and have the support of the people around you. It's the mentality that I say distinguishes Canada from anywhere else, and it's, at least when you compare them to Australia, when you compare it to the States, I figure that everyone is pushing you to succeed. And why not do this? Why not do that? Go ahead and try. Don't take no for an answer. You keep trying, you keep failing, you keep trying again. And the fact that now I bought a house,
nice.
I have a good role with a great company with a good salary that is enough for me, my wife, and my 2 kids. So it takes care of a house of 4.
Yeah.
You don't want anything more than that. Plus free healthcare. What else do you want? There's stability, and you can achieve anything. You just need to do so. You just need to put in the effort. And the fact that I have that now, I'm like, great. I take that as the biggest triumph.
So this has definitely been some great conversation. Thank you so much, Peter. But before you go, one more question. what to all our listeners out there, you know, thinking about Canada, thinking about coming here, possibly actually being here and, you know, early stages of transitioning, what would be some of your biggest tips to those persons?
The biggest tip I would say is do your research before you come in. Connect with people in podcasts. Listen to podcasts like yours. Connect with people like you to inquire about how things are, to get a better understanding of the challenges that you can face here. Like I said, everything is achievable, but there are a lot of challenges that you need to know, and it's best if you're prepared for them and you know of them ahead. And you can only do so by reaching out to people like yourself and just anyone else that you know. I think that would be the best approach.
For sure, I definitely agree with that one. You know, reach out and get the knowledge needed, the information needed to inform the decisions that you have to make. You know, that's so true. You know, ask questions, be open to getting that guidance, you know, to make your transition easier. That's for sure. Peter, thank you so much for joining us on this episode, from Egypt to Canada. Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us, Peter.
Thanks for having me, Paul.
Awesome. All right, everyone. So that's it for this episode. Thanks a million for listening, and we'll connect again soon.